It's been an incredible season of Super 2, and it all comes down to this moment. Cook and Owen tied for the championship. Whoever beats who here wins it all.
Okay, mate, you gotta get him.
I'm working on it, dude.
Who's going to get it then? It all comes down to what Owen can do here. He gets through better than Cook. One last chance for Owen. He's making the lunge.
I am so sorry. I tried. I gave it everything.
Supercars news this weekend, fresh off the end of the 2023 season. A new team is set to enter the series. Trackhouse Racing, out of the United States, is set to join the grid for 2024, with an announcement from the team owner, Justin Marks, today.
A brand new career mode is here. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Supercars career mode, where we will be piloting the brand new Trackhouse Chevrolet Camaro that joins the grid this season alongside my teammate and now recent Super 2 champion, Jay Cook. And an international team with Trackhouse Racing set out of the USA takes on two international drivers, with an American in Cook and a Canadian in myself, as we finished second in the standings in Super 2. It was a winner-take-all there in the closing laps in Adelaide, and unfortunately we made a big mistake and paid the price, and Cook went on to win the championship. But we got the call up anyways, and we're looking forward to a Supercars season to get under our belt here in 2024, and it kicks off right here from Queensland Raceway for preseason testing, coming up, of course, off of a Brody Kostecki championship. Now, the real-life events with the team and him have not taken place in the career mode, so Kostecki will still be on the team to start the season. Now, all the liveries you're going to see are from 2023, and as 2024 liveries release, I will put them in the game. But this is a mod you can download from Assetto Corsa. This is where the career mode's happening on, and I will have the track mods as well as car mod you can get in on Patreon. It actually is linked down below in the description. An incredible mod and an incredible opportunity. No one does a Supercars career mode, and I know this series isn't going to be very popular, that's obvious, but I'm doing this series out of the love that I have built for this series of racing. It is a lot of fun, and you guys know me, of course, for NASCAR. These cars, I mean, have so many similarities to NASCAR. Of course, racing is different, road course primarily based, but I'm telling you, you're in for a fun ride here in the Supercars career mode. As you can see, me getting in a bit of a battle right there with Thomas Randall in that Castrol Mustang here, but overall, pretty happy with how the car was driving.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good so far, guys. I don't really have anything to complain about.
Good stuff so far. Run a few more and bring it in.
You hear our race engineer, James Small. He is currently a crew chief for NASCAR Cup Series champion Martin Truex Jr., but he came from Supercars, so I felt like it'd be kind of cool to take my NASCAR Heat 5 career mode crew chief here into the V8 Supercars career mode as well. So he will be our race engineer all season long as we come through into the first race weekend. Now, to get ready to kick off this season from Bathurst, this season is going to follow as close as I can to real life, but there is some changes as we get on track here for practice for round 1. So here's how Supercars works. You can see some weekends 1 race, 2 races, 3 races, or 4 races. It differs every weekend, and there's different points handed out, but over the course of the races, at the end of the weekend, 300 points will go to the winner, so on and so forth, with the graphic that you can see on the screen. But basically the same amount of points are up for grabs every week. It's just separated differently depending on how many races there are. This weekend, it's 2 races in Bathurst, so the winner will get 150 points for both races in the race victories that they earn. 138 for second, 129 for third, so on and so forth. But those are the points that will be up for grabs in the 2 race weekend that we have. On top of that, here is the calendar. So we kick off Bathurst with 2 races, 12 laps each. We head to New Zealand for round 2 for 2 races as well, 22 laps of Taupo. Then we head to Perth for a super sprint, 2 races again. Then we have the Hidden Valley Triple Crown to follow, another set of 2 races. The 4 race weekend, which is usually Melbourne, well, there's not a working Melbourne that can actually have all the amount of cars that we have in Supercars on the grid. So Melbourne and both Adelaide are off the calendar for this reason. So the 4 race weekend is taking place in Chicago, street course, where of course NASCAR has taken over those streets, and there will be a doubleheader weekend with the NASCAR Cup Series with Supercars, while Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, is still succeeding off of those successes that he had in NASCAR. So now there's going to be a big crossover weekend there. Then we go to Townsville for 2 races, Sydney, the Super Night, for 2 races, Tasmania Super Sprint for 2 races. Then we had to Sandown and Bathurst, back-to-back races that are only 1 race apiece, but those are endurance races. And then we have Gold Coast for 2 races, and the season finale, not at Adelaide, but actually at Newcastle for 2 races. If you have any questions on the points or the calendar, just let me know down below, and I'll try to continue to explain in the best I can in the comments and going forward in the videos as well. So I got the calendar as close as I could now as we were wrapping up free practice 1 here from Bathurst for this, of course, opening weekend now, and of course 2 qualifying sessions this weekend, 2 race sessions, and we get out on track for qualifying here for our first attempt behind the wheel. You see the GoPro branding on the front bumper or on the front hood, and as we go for qualifying, every qualifying for the first round, each episode, I'm going to have a little behind the camera scene there on the left side. Now you see me on my Moza racing wheel with a sequential shifter to keep it kind of accurate to Supercars, as I'm shifting with my right hand instead of the left hand, like Supercars, of course, are sitting on the right side of the car here. Now, as a field run will be about 6 to 7 laps in this race. With 12-lap races, of course, it means 1 stop here. Now, as we head up the hill, of course, Bathurst, such an iconic track, and I'm going to show you guys in qualifying, you can run as many laps as you want in the time frame we have. We can't have the accurate Supercars qualifying format, unfortunately, where they have like the top 10 shootouts and whatnot, but I'm just going to basically show you guys every qualifying session, my quickest lap from that session. Bathurst, such an iconic track, so much history here from, I mean, just even beyond Supercars, but with Supercars, of course, now going 2 times here this year instead of just the 1 endurance race later in the year, and now we kind of have like the sprint races here in the season opener. But such a tricky track. If you overstep the boundaries, of course, those walls are right there to come out and bite you. So I was trying to be pretty cautious as we head down the hill. Now, one of the most iconic parts of racing circuits, in my opinion, right here on Earth. I mean, it's such a tight, windy, exciting section for racing, and even if you're just in one car, just going down the hill, of course, trying to maintain the speed, but make sure, of course, you're not taking too much, get as close to the walls as you can, etc. We come through out of the hairpin now, heading down the rest of the mountain, and it's been an okay lap so far. Currently, Cam Waters on pole position. You have returning Brody Kostecki currently in 2nd, with Golding there in 3rd. I'm looking to at least, flirt with a top 15 in my Supercars debut. Here we go to such a tricky braking zone right here. You're carrying so much speed, and then you try to hit that curb there. Don't take too much of it now, but we get the car planted, and now we throttle up as hard as we can on this final run towards the final turn, of course, which is a 90-degree left-hander here. Now you see all the braking pylons, you brake right about there with about the 100 marker. So we get on the apex, a little bit too much curb. I really don't want to hit the curb there, but we're going to cross the line, and it's going to be 9th place currently, but it would continue to fall. We were down to P10 towards the end of the session, and that's what it would end up as. On pole, it's Cam Waters, Brody Kostecki, some names, big names towards the bottom. Brock Feeney, of course, still in search of his first win of a championship, I should say, here in Supercars. But let's get ready to go racing.
Okay, Gary, first race, keep it clean and be patient. This track will punish you.
Yep, 10-4. Let's have fun.
Here we go. Supercars career mode is underway. Cam Waters, Brody Kostecki lead the field from a standing start. Our teammate and fellow rookie Jay Cook there, row number 2 around the outside now into turn number 1. Everybody playing it nice and cautious so far, but it's Waters out in front of Kostecki as we head down this long straightaway to, of course, send us up for the lead up the mountain now. As Cook's in a side-by-side battle, he's trying to move up into 3rd place now. As you can see, everyone just getting things sorted out very quickly, but that Monster Energy Ford Mustang out in front. James Golding gonna lose the position to Cook now. I myself was already settled in behind us, letting things kind of happen there. As you see, Deep Pasquale, Ryan Wood, as well as Macaulay Jones all here in front of us now, as everyone's pretty well gotten things sorted out single file, as we're already just in these early stages of heading up the mountain in this first lap of 12. So I myself settling in right behind Jones. You got Ryan Wood just in front of him, but your podium, Waters, Kostecki, Brody, Cook. Just behind myself, you got LeBrock as well as Heimgartner, who just won IRL in Taupo in New Zealand, which was great to see. Rain race, fantastic. We can have rain as well in the career mode here, as behind us I can see LeBrock actually going for a bit of a slide. Now, as we have a crash already on this opening lap, that's Richie Stanway, who's gone around into the barrier. No safety cars, unfortunately, are possible in this career mode, but it's not a big deal because our races are relatively short. But here's a replay. My goodness, contact on the opening lap, and around he goes into the barrier. Lots of damage going to be done to that car mechanically, so that might be the end of the day for Stanaway. Brock Feeney trying to make some headway forward now. Big names, of course, towards the back of the field as well. Chaz Mostert, but it's all Cam Waters coming through to lead this opening lap of 12. Kostecki right there with him. Cook lurking in the background. A great debut so far for Trackhouse, putting one of their cars in P3. Our team, of course, and our teammate running in that third spot. What a story that could be as we, of course, come in as a brand new team. No experience behind Supercars. We got no help from other teams. We're just kind of learning things on our own and trying to sort things out. So a great start for our American team and teammates now. And here we are on the Canadian side of things, trying to get this car a little bit further up the grid right now. Running ninth and actually under some pressure from LeBron there. Kostecki's teammate now going to go up my inside. He's going to take the position. So dropping down to P10, but hold on, it's not over. Here comes Heimgartner as well as we head up the mountain, and another position dropped into P11. Really struggling for confidence and comfortability in these opening couple of laps in this car, and you can see, I mean, we're paying the price for it now. We continue to drop down the order as we head down the mountain. You can see the gap increasing now, but we have a 1.6 second gap to the new Red Bull driver, replacing Shane Van Gisbergen, of course, at this Red Bull team. As we know, Shane Van Gisbergen has now headed over to the NASCAR side of things. LeBrock engaged in a battle with Heimgartner towards the end of this lap. Now we got Kostecki, Brody Kostecki pitting at the end of lap number 2, and he's actually reporting an issue with the car. It's not a scheduled stop. Kostecki facing some kind of issue there, so unfortunate for him. His teammate continues now into 9th. We move back into the top 10 here. Now is more trouble, and it's Stanaway again in the barrier in the final turn. As you can see, a replay, and he just, I mean, that car clearly not in any racing shape. And that would be the end of the day for Richie Stanaway. Day over now, as it's been a horrendous start to the season for him. As we continue on, look at this battle we've got going on in front of us now with LeBrock, Heimgartner as well, Macaulay Jones. We're right to the back of this Coca-Cola machine. We'll swing to the right, and actually there goes Jones. Jones as well reporting an issue. This is also not a scheduled stop. So in the season opener, we are seeing a couple of cars with some issues now. We nearly had LeBrock clear, but he's actually going to get us back, and I don't think the issues are over as well. That's Brock Feeney heading into the pits as well with a potential issue, and then there's someone in the background I just noticed as well that's going to be coming in. That's Nick Percat as well. So in the opening laps, we've got 4 drivers that have come down with some kind of issues with their cars. Obviously, they're going to have to deal with those issues for the remainder of this Grand Prix, and 2 of them are huge names, of course, with Brock Feeney as well as Brody Kostecki. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the rest of their races, but it's not going to be anything good. They're going to be probably having to pit a few more times before it's over, and they'll have to get those issues sorted for tomorrow in race number 2. You can see some water actually on the inside of the curbing on some of these corners. It had rained a little bit before this session, if you were wondering why that was there. I was struggling, though, to keep pace with LeBrock, but, I mean, we're up to P9. And now we, of course, are flirting with the pit window. If you pit right now, you can make it, as long as you put enough fuel in the car, of course. Jay Cook with the fastest lap, but there you go. We have now kicked off the pit cycle. There goes Heimgartner into the pits there, so he is going to fuel up, get some tires on that car. Now, I do have fuel and tire wear quite high to make sure we get pit stops in. Actually, more drivers pitting. There's Love, and actually Kostecki making a second pit stop there. He's already gone, I believe, a lap down, so he spent some time in the pit lane, but we are just continuing to follow LeBrock now down the mountain as we move up into 8th place. So currently we're in the net top 10. As you can see, Cam Waters leading over the rookie of Cook, who moves through into that second position, and he is putting some pressure on the back of that Monster Energy Ford Mustang in the Trackhouse Racing debut, and of course, first ever race for Cook. He is looking very good. Now they're going to come into the pits though. Scheduled pit stops from this point on for everybody, and now it's going to be as well Winterbottom coming in. As you can see, Di Pasquale, Ryan Love as well just behind, but look at this. When they left the pit boxes, Waters goes from first to third, and Cook takes the lead just over Winterbottom. Jay Cook in his Supercars debut will lead, and you can see myself just in front of them. They had such a large margin. We are just now barely in front of them as Cam Waters. What has gone wrong there? There's Will Brown. You can see a lot of cars exiting the pits. We've pushed our car a little bit further in the run, so we're going to be coming in another lap or two, but we've also been just trying to be patient here. Just make sure we keep this car clean. We've got some battles here side by side at the start of the mountain. There you go, a pass complete there on Deep Pasquale, but we run currently P3 behind LeBrock as well. James Golding currently out in front on this 7th lap of this race into the wall, and we've done damage to the car, including the right front suspension.
Up there, dude. I nailed the wall. Car's damaged.
Okay, pit this lap, fuel tires, and we will need to fix it.
Just past halfway in our first race in Supercars, and a crucial mistake. Now we're going to come into the pits at the conclusion of lap 7, coming to lap 8. Golding, LeBrock, myself, all heading into the pits now to finish off the pit cycle as our car hits the wall. So that's weird. When you go into the pit lane, you can speed into it, but then like the car just goes straight. It kind of like stomps on the brakes by itself. It's really weird, and I was not prepared for that. So we get the new tires, but we are going to have to wait a while because of the repairs. So we're going to lose lots of track time and position. As you can see, Matt Payne going through right there as well. So down to P17, P18, because here comes Aaron Love as well. He'll go through into 17th position. The damage is done. We were having a top 10 run, and it's been thrown away. Fortunately, we're in front of a lot of drivers that have had issues today. Not Thomas Randall. I'm not sure what's been the story with him, but Feeney, Kostecki, as well as a few others way behind just due to the mechanical problems that they've been having in the first part of this race. Now we continue on trying to focus in on running down Aaron Love, Matt Payne as well. It's Cook, Winterbottom, as well as Cam Waters at top 3, and there's Macaulay Jones. We know he's been having issues. He's actually about to go a lap down. He's right in front of the leaders, and Cook is not really pushing the issue to pass him, and I guess he doesn't really need to push the issue. As you can see, LeBrock right there having a nice run now. Deep Pasquale up inside the top 10. Same for Ryan Wood in that Mobile One Ford Mustang as well. James Golding having a very respectable run as we kind of go through this grid and just see where everybody's running. Heimgartner, I feel like, has gotten the short end of the stick here. Felt like he was potential, could have ran better, and Will Brown's having a decent first race here with this Red Bull team now, as you see Tim Slade. All these guys unfortunately in front of us. Look at this big group here with Chaz Mostert, Hill, as well as Will Davison right at the back of it. This is where if there's going to be any trouble, it's going to come from that group right there now, as you see Payne, Love just in front of myself as we head out of the hairpin down the hill, and we're trying to close in on them, and we're doing exactly that. The damage has been repaired. We run P18. We're 2.5 seconds back basically, and that gap is continuing to come down very slowly but surely. Sector 3, kind of my weak link of this circuit, and that was being represented. It wasn't really gaining anything, but Sector 1, Sector 2, really gaining some time. We cut the gap down by over a second to Aaron Love here. We've got a lot of speed in this Trackhouse machine now, as we've got some problems. There's contact right there between Fullwood and Hill. More contact into the barriers they go. They save it, I think. Yes, they do. Mustard trying to come through. More contact there. Fullwood has gone goblin mode here as they continue on, and I believe Cameron Hill's got some damage now. A bounce off the wall there again for Chaz Mostert as they go through now the hairpin, and look at this. Cameron Hill way off the pace here, and this is perfect for myself. I mean, we are able to get right up on the back of this group, which I didn't realize at the time what was happening. We nearly plow into the back of Aaron Love. Now we're right up in the mix now. Hill way off the pace still. They're hitting the brakes to the right side of Fullwood. Payne will pass them. We'll get past Hill as well. Both Cameron Hill and Fullwood actually are going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. Too much damage for their cars, while Chaz Mostert's gotten away pretty fortunately here. So suddenly we've propelled ourselves up into 14th. Bathurst, I mean, it always presents chaos, especially when cars are close together and battling like that with such a narrow track. Actually, Chaz Mostert ends up pitting, and so does Heimgartner. So Mostert pits. They both underfueled their cars. They couldn't quite get to the end here with 2 laps to go. So Heimgartner now comes out in front of us. We're all over the back of him. We run him down with no issues at all, looking for the 12th position here, and he's on cold tires, of course, for being being stopped. So here we go, up the inside of Heimgartner, and into 12th place we go, but it's all Jay Cook leading in these final moments of this first and opening race. What a story it's about to be. Trackhouse Racing, a brand new Supercars team and rookie driver duo of myself and the American of Jay Cook, but it's all Cook leading the way through these final few corners, the first race of many to come this season, and Jay Cook is going to round the final turn in his first race for him and his new team, Trackhouse Racing. Cook wins in Bathurst.
Let's go, guys. Thank you so much, team. Great weekend.
You hear the reaction from Cook, who is already a Supercars winner. Unbelievable scenes. What a story here in Bathurst to kick off the career mode in the season with a story like that. A new team getting a win in their first race with a rookie driver, and unfortunately the other guy on the team is me, and we end up 12th place here in Bathurst. Not exactly what I wanted, but a good rebound, and I can't complain about that too much. You see the results of race 1 with that podium there, but Jack LeBrock, Deep Pasquale rounding out the top 5 with Wood, Golding, Brown, Slade, and as well David Reynolds inside the top 10, P12 for us. But towards the bottom of the grid, Richie Stanway, of course, out of the race. 1 lap down each for Nick Percat, Feeney, Macaulay Jones, Kostecki. They both remained on the lead lap, but those 4 specifically, of course, had issues all race long mechanically. Unfortunate for them here now as we focus in on round 2 and qualifying number 2 now. So, of course, looking for a bit better of a qualifying position. We've got a little bit more confidence in the car now, a little bit more of a comfortability here. You can see a little bit cloudier skies here today for race number 2 of this first weekend. It's such a interesting format that Supercars uses, of course, and then I can see how for a new viewer it can be confusing. I've only been watching Supercars for about a year now, and I still get quite confused at times by what's going on, but nonetheless, it's so much fun to watch. Currently, it's Jack LeBrock on pole for round 2, but we cross the stripe and we go P5, but it was short-lived because to take that away from us was second place finisher last round, Winterbottom. So still, P6 out-qualifying our teammate as well of Jay Cook, who's just outside the top 10 as we get ready to roll as well. Brody Kostecki, not quite as good of a qualifying run after a poor result in round 1. Round 2 set to get underway. 12 laps once again, same situation. We are racing lights out. It's a bit of a poor start, a lot of wheel spin there from this Trackhouse Chevrolet as we make the run, short run, down towards turn 1. Macaulay Jones looking for a rebound, and same for Brock Feeney, of course, and it's all LeBrock leading the way over Andre Heimgartner now as they're side by side behind. That's Mark Winterbottom now. He's going to get maybe clear in that DeWalt Chevrolet over Deep Pasquale. Brock Feeney there just behind as we head over the little bump in the road, we'll call it now, the little hill up and down as they continue side by side actually now. Deep Pasquale up the inside now, and in the background I'm losing track position. There goes Macaulay Jones. He's going to go through on me, and then as well Davison is going to take the position. Will Davison moves through, so we drop a couple of positions immediately here, unfortunately. Not a great start for myself. Will Brown just behind myself as well. Cam Waters, you got Cook as well there, the round 1 winner just behind as they continue to battle it out. There's Brody Kostecki side by side with Ryan Wood. Kostecki, like I mentioned, he needs a rebound, kind of like what Feeney's putting on right now after a poor start to the season in that first race just one day before now, but everybody's going to get things sorted out. A lot of side by side action there, but it got sorted out pretty well and turned out to be a lot less chaotic of a start than what we saw in that first race, of course, where Richie Stanway had that big crash. So we go from P6 down to 8th place, right to the back of Will Davison right there, briefly almost into the back of him now. Will Brown trying to put some pressure on me, of course, his new ride this season with the Red Bull team. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. The big thing in this career mode, and there's nothing I can do about it, but the AI, they're all equal cars, so not one team's going to stick out as the best team. Any team can show up on any given weekend and win. That's just the way it's going to be, unfortunately, in this career mode. Or maybe that's a good thing now, as look at this. Will Brown up the inside, nearly contact between us two. He takes the position. We drop down to 9th. Cam Waters, P10. Chaz Mostert in that 11th position now, as you can see us going through turn number 1. Starting lap 2, a little bit of understeer we're dealing with there onto the entrance of the corner, and we stay ahead now, but towards the end of the straightaway, Cam Waters able to use the slipstream and actually get up my inside inside on the run down towards turn number 2. So he's going to go and take that 9th position away. So kind of like the start to race 1, really struggling to maintain some pace, and we're losing some track position here as we continue following just behind Waters, who's clearly moving his way forward now in this 12-lap event. So we got Mostert and then Cook just behind us now. As you can see, a little bit of grass thrown up there in front of us now. Not quite sure who got wide, but looks like they're all okay up there. They did have a little side-by-side battle here into turn 1, but they would get things sorted. That was Brock Feeney actually right in the thick of that, but we continue towards it now, lap 4, and looking like everybody has gotten their mechanical issues from race 1 solved. No issues for Feeney. Jones as well. Brody Kostecki looking okay. However, Kostecki struggling for track position right now. As we continue on in this 10th spot, you can see the gap still not what I want it to be. I want to be right there on the bank of Waters and moving forward, but we're still having a nice solid top 10 run on lap 5, now coming towards lap 6 at this point. You can make it from fuel from this point, so if you pit now, you're good to go to the end here now, as we are going to be, of course, going for new tires, fuel as well. And at the end of this lap, here comes D. Pasquale. He's going to be the first one of the front runners in, and then Will Davison, his teammate, going to join him as well. I believe that's Ryan Wood in the background that's coming in. No, that's Chaz Mostert as well. As you can see, Kostecki just behind Jay Cook right there, as we are all over the back now of Cam Waters, still putting some pressure on him, as I'm expecting or thinking I'm going to come into the pits at the end of this lap here. We could stretch it to the end of lap 7 if we want, and I mean, really, we can go about 9 laps total is what I actually learned through race 1 and whatnot. If we wanted to, we could go to about lap 9, but we're just not going to do that here. So we'll run another lap. We're not going to pit this lap, so we're going to come in at the end of lap 7 sideways into the braking zone, and now that's going to open up the gap to Waters and open up an opportunity for our teammate and race 1 winner of Cook to get up here in the mix now. 2nd and 3rd, Heimgartner and Winterbottom coming into the pits now as well, so they will kick off the cycle for the top 3. LeBrock stays out as Macaulay Jones is into the pits as well. We continue on, just trying to stay in front, and actually would open up the gap again to Cook by about 2 seconds. So there's good pace in this car. I'm really happy with how it's driving. It's just there's not quite enough to put enough pressure on the cars in front of us. A really calm race here. Race 2 has not been eventful in terms of drama, chaos, contact, and whatnot, but that's okay. Not all Supercars races are meant to be pure insanity, but we're going to come into the pits now following everybody else. So LeBrock, Brock Feeney, as well, Will Brown, Cam Waters, myself. I believe my teammate Cook's going to pit with us as well, and actually, we would end up making an error, so they did not replace any tires, and fuel, everyone's putting in about 113 to 114 liters of fuel into their car. We're going to end up putting over 130 liters into the car, so that's going to add some time to the pit stop. And you can see right there, LeBrock and Brown and Feeney are going to be 1, 2, 3, and look at this, everybody's going past us. We have lost a massive amount of time. Actually, it's going to be 122 liters, so we did about 10 extra liters of fuel, and you can see the time it cost us. But on top of that, they didn't change tires, so beforehand, I don't know if I accidentally turned it off. Beforehand, you have to do it manually for the pit settings, and I had told them to put new tires on. Clearly they didn't, and I double checked, and when I was in the pit box, the option was now do not change tires. So somewhere in there, it somehow flipped off instead of stayed on. So we are now on old tires once again, down the order because we put too much fuel in the car, spent too much time in the pits. That was just a simple error on my part, putting too much fuel into the car, and now we have to, of course, try and make up for it now as we continue right on the back of Matt Payne. But 2 races in this first weekend here in Supercars to kick off our career, and it's been 2 mistakes. The race 1 mistake, of course, was actually damaging the car and hitting the wall. The race 2, the mistake was just overfueling the car, and then now not having fresh tires on the car. But even with no fresh tires, we're quick. We're closing in. We passed Payne. We're closing in on Tim Slade. But you know, it's those rookie learning moments here, and I'd rather do that right now. I want to have these learning moments early in the season to take forward with us. So I'm not, destroyed that it's happening here today, as we have now run down Tim Slade. 3 laps to go in Bathurst as we cross the stripe up the inside. We go of that Nulon black Chevrolet Camaro here. The scheme almost reminds me of the Intimidator Dale Earnhardt with the gray alongside the bottom of the car. Now, as we have a little bit of door-to-door contact right there, Slade not going to give it up easy now, and he would continue alongside us into the second turn, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it around the top. We try to commit it's not going to be enough there. You can see just washing out wide, so we're going to have to try and find a way around him here. Towards the end of the lap, coming to 2 laps to go, a big lunge up the inside of Slade into the braking zone. Here we go, trying to get that 16th position and then be able to focus on running down Ryan Wood, but it's not going to happen again. Slade gets back ahead, so we would have to follow him up the mountain. I'm trying to find a way to get creative, and that opportunity is going to be right here. Here we go, we're going to lunge one around the outside. Thank you very much, we'll get the job done. That'll move us through into the 16th position, clear of Slade. Let's get away from these guys. Pasquale in a battle with Cook. Jay Cook moves through. Cam Waters right there in the thick of it as well. You can see Randall, Kostecki all right here together. Contact between Di Pasquale and Waters. They're sideways, and they nail the barrier. They somehow keep it going in the right direction, but major damage potentially done. Kostecki slips in between Waters and Di Pasquale. Who's slipping in the background there was Waters again, as he's just in front of Will Davison with only 2 laps to go in this race, but they all keep it collected and going. But that would allow me to at least close in a bit on the cars in front starting the final lap, but they're too far gone as it's P16, and I don't think it's going to be any better coming to the finish, unfortunately, now, as it's all Jack LeBrock getting things done here today, and he's got a large lead on 2nd and 3rd of Brown and Feeney as well, but Red Bull finishing 2nd and 3rd is what it's going to be today. But Jack LeBrock wins round 2 of the season opening round here from Bathurst, and it's going to be the pair of Red Bulls coming home in that 2nd and 3rd position. There's Will Brown, Feeney in the background as well, under pressure just from behind there as well. Winterbottom in the top 5, another good round for him. Heimgartner as well, really showing up here today. P16, unfortunately, is what it's going to be for us here now as we round the final turn, getting some curb there. P16, not what we were capable of again. We deserve better, but another mistake, and we pay the price here from Bathurst. It's all about learning. You'll see the finishing order once again here for race 2. LeBlanc, Brown, Feeney, Heimgartner, Winterbottom, your top 5. Fullwood with a great race, and same for Macaulay Jones, a great rebound for him. Di Pasquale rounding out the top 10. Race 1 winner Cook there in 9th place. Kostecki, Randall just outside the top 10 as we, of course, end up 16th. All the way at the bottom, though, Nick Percat, terrible start to the season. Mechanical issues in race 1 and just a bad race in race 2. Nobody had any mechanical problems, but yeah, Percat all the way at the bottom, joined by David Reynolds and Cameron Hill. That's going to wrap it up for round 1, weekend 1 of the Supercars career mode. Next episode, we will be in New Zealand from Taupo. I am looking forward to seeing you guys there. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Let me know what you think about the career mode down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.